Good, thank you very much, Charlotte. When David asked me to make some remarks, he didn't tell me that I would be following a superwoman, 4.0 student, and someone who certainly helped me succeed. It all depends who we follow. David, the advice he gave me, I should be brief, I should be humorous, I should be ironic, I should be myself. Well, I decided really to be serious. I take his advice sometimes, but not always. Lots of things I was going to say, but I decided not to say them. It is fitting that David Coppola's inauguration is on as the 10th president, 19th leader at this college. It occurs on August 28th. This is something David and I would share. The day commemorates the death of Bishop Augustine of Hippo, one of the giants of theology who had a special interest in education and teaching. David and I, as well as countless others, have been shaped and influenced by the penetrating writings of this theologian and educator. So as soon as I heard the 28th, I thought, Augustine of Hippo. I don't know who else thinks of Augustine of Hippo. Hippo is sort of like Morocco today. The invitation to this inauguration detailed the professional achievements in the life of David. They're impressive. You've read them. His years as administrator, director of the Center for Christian-Jewish Understanding, did a magnificent job, gathering together priests, rabbis, imams, and then his most recent work in strategic planning and administration. It's easy to understand why the search committee chose this man to be the next president of Keystone College. I speak today of the David that I have known for over 20 years. David is, for many of us who know him in his past, a passionate teacher, a competent scholar, creative artist, a devoted friend, and really when my wife saw his picture, she looked at him and said, a Renaissance man. And he's one of the few real Renaissance men that I've met. I guess today we have to say Renaissance persons. David is, as we know him best and first, he is a teacher and an educator. And I think we saw that in his talk today. The talk that he gave, the examples, the humor, the depth of them, the understanding of popular culture. That was a marvelous list of songs, some of which I knew, some of which I didn't know. I've seen him personally teach grade school children, doctoral students, graduate students, and professional groups. I don't think there's a group that David cannot reach through his teaching and through his talks. He was one of the highest rated teachers in the 2 graduate schools at Fordham University. I taught courses with him. He taught courses for me in my illnesses. And after David would be teaching one of my courses, students would ask me, well, when is he coming back? His charm was such that he enthralled one of his students, and she actually married him. I know what charm is because I married one of mine. David, secondly, is a scholar. You have to watch when you say you're going to do 4 things and you forget what the 4th one is. We learned that from Governor Harry, I think. David's scholarly career began with his dissertation on leadership styles, and he certainly learned a lot from that. He did it under my mentorship. I was really proud to mentor him. There were some dissertations that were very difficult. This was not one of them. He showed unusual humility when I asked him to eliminate about 20 or 30 pages, saying that I think you've overwritten this thing. And he was very, very humble, and he accepted that and went on to great things. He continued his scholarly work, and you can look this up on the internet, at the Center for Christian Jewish Understanding. He organized conferences, wrote and edited books and articles on such topics as interfaith relationships, religion and violence, moral values in various religious traditions. He was known both nationally and internationally for this work. I think it's good that you know the full background of this man and what he has done. Another reason we call him I call him a Renaissance person, he is a creative artist. Music has long been a staple of his life. He probably knows all those songs that he talked about today. He regaled many youth groups in New Jersey with his guitar and singing. My daughter, Rebecca, who's here today, speaks often of his signature piece, Shut the Door. So he should sing that for us. I don't see the guitar anyways, but he probably could do an acapella. He played in musical groups. You asked him, what are you doing today? Well, I'm going to New Hope. We'll be playing in some group in New Hope, performing. And he even made recordings of artists. He played at my daughter's weddings, and even led the singing 2 years ago at my retirement dinner. For many years he composed poetry, and I've been after him to publish his poetry. He is a very competent poet. I'm going to read you one of his poems. His artistic achievement is, I think, one of his greatest. May well be the magnificent chapel at Sacred Heart University. You might look that up also on the internet. David met personally with architects, builders, and artists in designing the chapel. He's also a man who actually could build the chapel, or help them build. Carpenter, plumber, has those kinds of skills also. So in case he doesn't work out as president, but I think it'll work out. The building of this chapel received widespread media coverage. In the New York Times, the religion editor, Peter Steinfeld, wrote this. This week, Dr. Coppola noted aspects of the chapel in keeping with his spiritual seeking, its motifs of pilgrimage and dialogue, as well as the interreligious meditation garden. Definitely, quoting David, definitely a Catholic chapel, but also a place for people of all denominations along the pilgrimage. He said students, he felt confident, would remember it long after graduation, a place of spirituality, doubt, belief, learning. Much of what I said speaks to what David has done and accomplished. Past to really, who is he? What is he? For over 20 years, David has been to me and to many others, and many of them are here, a devoted friend. What began as a teacher-student relationship blossomed into a lifelong friendship. He has always been there for me and our family and many families. I've met many of them today. There have been, over the years, many conversations, much sharing, ample laughter. He has been there in times of joy like weddings, anniversaries, retirement. Yes, retirement was a time of joy. And in times of sorrow and serious illness at hospital bedside. There was one time when he was really there. I had just about given up on writing a book that I had been working on for years. I began to view the work as so much scroll. I use that word because Thomas Aquinas had used that toward the great theologian. For the end of his life, he never finished his great work because he sort of felt it was just so much scroll compared to, I guess, that mystical vision that he had. David sent me a poem, a way of encouraging me to complete the work. The message was clear. Don't lose faith. Keep on working. Meditate on scroll. It seems like scroll is not that important, but it might turn out to be something very precious and valuable. And so I end reading the poem to you that David sent to me, which when I finally published the book, I put right at the front of the book. And it's a beautiful poem. It's deep. I don't know if it's been published. Well, it's published in my book. But he should still keep after him. Don't let him just build your buildings and make him also, through his writings and poetry, do the thing he puts also very deep in it. And make sure that he plays his guitar every once in a while. Faith is a farm in Conestoga, New York. Jumping into the sack, flying with the birds, sleeping in the smell of freshly cut grass fields. The scarecrow loses his stuffing, and so do I. I'm afraid of the fire sometimes, and the too early frosts, rains that flood the fields, clouds that might not come, dust in the balance and soil for the seed. Straw on the scale may not seem that much unless you're a cow, or a scarecrow, or Rumpelstiltskin, or a newborn child with nowhere to go. Faith is writing a book, adding to the volumes of wisdom to the stack of centuries, caressing each paragraph and smooth page, wondering, will anyone ever read this labor of love? Critics are carnivores, scholars are cynics. Why the claim is always thin. Like silence is a huge, dark, empty cavern. The death and life of ideas depends on the desire of a writer. Farming a good book isn't really important, except if you're hungry. You have students. You are writing the Republic or John's Gospel, or whatever someone may read 2,000 years from now. What did you mean, angelic doctor? It's all straw? Did you lose your faith? Was this a plate piled high with piety? When your palate for life had gone sour? Or a manger of softest humility, welcoming our finest hour? David is teacher, scholar, artist, friend, a Renaissance person. He is now president of Keystone College.